Welcome to the Volusia Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Member Spotlight. My name is Tasha Brickhouse. I'm a registered dietitian, and I will be your host for these fun and informative videos. In honor of National Nutrition Month 2021, we're releasing a series of interviews from a few of our members in diverse areas of practice. Today, I have April Kelton, registered dietitian and outpatient educator. Hi, April. How are you doing today?
Good. Hi, Tasha. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start out our time together today just by, why don't you give us a little bit of an idea about your path in the field of dietetics and nutrition?
So the way I kind of got into dietetics, my mom is a nurse, so I was kind of exposed to the medical field early on. I realized nursing is not my forte, so I was trying to look for something a little bit different. Literally kind of just stumbled upon nutrition for a college degree, and since then I've just always been interested in nutrition in the medical field, so it kind of just took off. It just was like a perfect match.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So yes, nutrition, the world of nutrition, something that I was a little bit surprised to find as I was going through my education process, is how deeply embedded research and medical, terminology, all of that is in the field of nutrition. It's not just as easy as, eat this, not that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Science becomes your best friend.
Yeah.
Which is funny because people ask to, what did you have to do to become a dietitian? It's a lot of education.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely not easy for sure.
Yeah, but very, very rewarding and well worth it. So tell me, why would someone make an appointment to see an outpatient dietitian? What could a dietitian tell me? Are they just going to tell me what I shouldn't be eating and, that I can't have any good tasting food?
So seeing a dietitian, we have many various education paths and interests, but it's a good idea to see a dietitian. One, because of our background, we've had, 4 years undergrad. Then soon in the near future, we're going to be required to have a master's degree, but then we also have the internship. So again, it's not just school and then you sit down and you're done. Once we've done our internship, which is several thousand hours in the different areas of nutrition, we have to sit for that national exam, which all our background is based off of evidence-based. So again, we're the nutrition experts. So whether you have a question such as, am I eating okay? Am I getting enough nutrients? Versus if you have some chronic disease, we're going to look into your background to make sure what matches for you individually versus, we're going to hand you food, don't eat this, don't eat that. We're going to tailor it to you, to the individual person.
That's comforting because there might be some things in my diet that I'm very, very stuck on that I just don't want to let go of. But there might be some things that I have a little bit more interest in, maybe pushing the plate away and making those slight sacrifices just to get to a specific end goal.
I promise to your favorite food.
So April, what would you say to a person who might be intimidated or embarrassed about their health or maybe their weight, but they did want to talk to somebody about their nutrition? How would you help them to feel more comfortable about opening up about what could be kind of embarrassing and personal information?
So that actually kind of happens a lot. I have, you see people, patients come in kind of definitely hesitant, got the wall up. Again, once you come in, we're going to look at your medical history before you come in. So get an idea of what's going on. Then we're going to do what's like an initial assessment. We're going to ask you more personal questions, like what kind of medications you're on, your intake, what's your life like, activity, are you sleeping? So more personal questions to get to know you. Again, we're human. We're just like you. We eat, we breathe, we do all the same stuff you do. The more open and honest you're going to be with us, the more we're going to be able to help you. And oftentimes we're going to spend more time with you than, say, a physician will. They're always slotted with their times and stuff like that. So dietitians usually, as an outpatient dietitian, I'm going to have more time to sit with you than another medical profession will. So again, we're not in any rush. It's going to be tailored to you, but the more open and honest you can be, the more we can help you. And again, that's what helps to make it more individualized to your needs and questions and concerns.
Yeah, definitely.
And even I would say if you're, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say even if you're just not sure, I just have a tiny little question or something, just to, reassurance, we're going to give you resources that are, accurate and evidence-based of where you can go to make sure that what you're doing is correct or that fit your needs as well.
Well, that's reassuring too, because I think that gives the client the opportunity to be a part of the process, giving them a little bit more education for the reason why they might be doing something, and then them being able to dig back into that information on their own time. That's really good, having those resources.
Think of us as like a cheerleader. We want you to succeed. So any way we can help you, get to your goals, no matter what size those goals are, we're here to help. So absolutely.
So do you typically meet with those clients on a one-time basis, or do you meet with them periodically to monitor their progress? What's more common?
So again, it depends on your background and what your nutrition concern is. So for example, for weight management, we're going to have the initial, it will follow up with you again, maybe 1 to 2 months. It depends on, the patient's comfort level. Then we'll follow up with you, see how you're going. Some people like to meet more frequently. It holds them a little bit more accountable, keeps them on track. Others, it might be 1 or 2, and then we just check in with you via the phone or something like that to see how you're going. You just need a little bit of push. Now, if you have chronic issues, it's going to be a little bit more frequent. So for example, diabetes, we'll have the initial follow-ups, but then we also offer like classes. So to keep more specific on how to keep your diabetes in check. So it really depends on what your nutrition concerns is. It might only be 1 visit, but typically you're always going to have a follow-up after, even if it is just 1 visit.
Well, that's good. So you probably begin to form a relationship of trust with those clients, and they do know that you're there for them to get them to those goals, and with the goal of health in mind as that primary endpoint. It's important that they do have that support all along. What a great thing. So if I'm a diabetic, should I just follow a low carb or a no carb diet? I was told I just shouldn't eat anything light. What do you think about that?
So I get those questions a lot. A lot of times I hear just, those one little things. So for diabetes, you're not going to come in, I'm not going to hand you, here's a diabetic meal plan, this is what you need to follow. Everybody's different, so it's going to be tailored to you. We're going to go through the different types of food, kind of break some of those myths that you might have heard. Because thinking about, if you're told not to eat white, well, think about what foods are white. There's some healthy foods that are white. You don't want to take those out of your diet. The other thing is doing low carb versus no carb. Again, we want to have carbs in our diet. So how much is the right amount? Again, it's going to be tailored to you. So I would be careful when taking other advice from other input, whether it's the internet or friends or even family. I mean, I know their intentions are probably great, but again, you want to get it customized to you to meet your needs, to make sure that it's in sync with your diabetes regimen as well. So there's not just one little thing I can tell you to say, hey, do this for your diabetes. It's going to be a cure-all, but doing step-by-step and giving you the tools. Again, I don't want to take away any food you like. So again, we just want to show you how to have those foods you like and how to balance them into your diet.
Yeah, that's a much more doable and sustainable method for eating. I think when we start to think about something that I can never have ever again, immediately that's all you can think about, and that's all that you want. Yeah.
And a lot of my will say that. They're like, oh, I'm so glad you didn't say that. And I'll remind them too at the end, and I'll say, is there anything that I said you couldn't have? And they kind of pause and think, and they're like, no. And I'm like, well, what's the key? So again, they're just like, I've just got to balance it. So absolutely, again, you're human. You're going to want to eat a variety of foods. We just want to make sure that we balance it.
Absolutely. So some questions that you might come across, I would think would be things, questions about supplements. So what would you think would be, say, the best fiber supplement?
So whenever somebody asks me what are the best supplements or vitamins, I do tell them focusing first on your diet. So there's ways that you can get fiber from your diet before we go to supplements. Sometimes you might actually need that. So again, depending on your background, your labs, your medical history, you might need a little bit extra, but it's going to be tailored to you. So again, depending on if you've got allergies, you might need a specific supplement that without those allergies in it. So again, it's going to be tailored to the patient. So there's not one specific brand that we'll recommend, but I do want to make sure that they focus on getting the nutrients in their diet first. And then if we need to go to a supplement, that we do that safely.
Yeah, I'm hearing a common theme that food first is definitely the way to go. Then you really find where the holes are and fill in. Do you have a favorite protein supplement if they are getting as much protein from their diet as possible, but they still need a little bit of extra? Do you have a favorite?
So usually I like the plant-based ones. So anything that's going to be plant-based, or typically any that you can get within your local grocery store. It can just be any of them. The amount of protein is going to be the key. So I have some patients where they get them at the grocery store, some are ordering online. Again, I instruct them on how much is too much. More is not always better because we don't want to hurt our other organs in our bodies as well. So I do the plant-based, but whey is a great supplement as well for protein. So it really depends on where you shop, but the key is going to be how much you have per scoop. So usually they're distributed per scoop. So I educate them on what is the appropriate amount for that. Gotcha. Yeah, because too much is not necessarily the way that we want to go either. So say I'm a brand new client of yours and I've just been diagnosed with diabetes and this whole thing is super overwhelming. What's the one thing that I should start out with? So the one thing, the first thing I would say is make sure you're checking your blood sugars. You're diagnosed. That's the best way to know what's going on with your body. If is it too high, too low, if you feel funny, that's the best way to tell you. So I would definitely tell you start checking your blood sugars. And then from there, it kind of just goes on individually what you want to focus on for your plan.
Gotcha. So learning a little bit about how my body's responding to food, is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It gives you a baseline of what's going on. And what's, maybe you are feeling funny. It's going to tell you, oh, this is what happens when my body feels too high, or this is what is too low. You may not even know what those numbers are, but just taking that down and then bringing them into, your educator, dietitian, nurse, doctor, that's going to give us the information of what's actually going on with your body.
Wow, very good. So April, say I have an appointment with you, but it's not for 2 weeks. In that time frame between now and that 2 weeks, I should be checking my blood sugar. Anything else that I should do in that meantime while I'm waiting to get more information about managing my blood sugar?
And I would say anytime you're going to come in to see a dietitian, I would maybe jot down a couple of days worth of what you've been eating and drinking. We're going to ask you when you come in, what have you been eating? So sometimes it takes a little bit of memory jogging, but if you can write down just a couple of days of what you've been eating and drinking, that helps us to see a bigger picture of what's been going on.
Oh, very good. So you're not suggesting that I make any major changes right now, because maybe you won't get a real glimpse about how my normal everyday patterns are. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to see what's going on, because again, we want to modify what you're already doing. I don't want to come through and snowplow your whole diet regime and change it up on you. So we want to get a realistic picture.
Very good. Okay, so no crash diets 3 days before you go in to see a dietitian. Very good. Very good. Well, you've given us lots of great information in the time that we've had today. And I'm sure that those that might feel like seeing a dietitian is a little bit intimidating, or maybe not sure where to begin, would really get a lot of comfort in just knowing how easy it is to talk to a dietitian about what might seem as a complicated health situation. Because just as much as a cheerleader, it sounds like that you're going to be providing them good amount of education so that they can be able to take care of their own health.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're here to help make you healthy.
Awesome. As we wrap up today, is there any one specific thing that you would like to cap off our talk?
I would say, even if you're thinking about seeing a dietitian, don't hesitate. Just ask your healthcare provider, whether it's your primary or any health professional, for a referral. So don't be afraid to ask. Take the initiative. Hey, is there a dietitian, nutritionist I can talk to? Get that referral and get the ball rolling. And just, try it, see what happens. And I think you'll be surprisingly happy when meeting with a dietitian that we're human too.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time, April. And I hope everyone has enjoyed listening to our conversations today with an outpatient registered dietitian in honor of our celebration of National Nutrition Month in 2021. And we do hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.